On 30th January 1933, thousands of torches were lit as Nazis paraded at Berlin's Brandenburg Gate to celebrate. Their leader, Adolf Hitler, had just been appointed Chancellor of Germany by President Hindenburg. His Nazi government, called the Third Reich, wasted little time and began implementing a series of undemocratic policies, such as the Reichstag Fire Decree, the Enabling Act, the Gestapo, and the concentration camps. It was a cold February night when firefighters and policemen were informed that the Reichstag building was ablaze. By the time they arrived, most of the building was destroyed. They arrested the only person found lurking inside, a Dutch communist. Fearing a communist revolution, Hitler immediately used the Reichstag fire as an excuse to pass the Reichstag Fire Decree, a law that stopped German citizens from talking and moving freely. Thousands of communist leaders were arrested and thrown into jail. Next, Hitler convinced Hindenburg to pass the Enabling Act on 23rd March 1933. This act gave Hitler the power to pass laws without consulting the Reichstag. It was officially called the Law for Removing the Distress of the People, but in effect it legalized Hitler's dictatorship. Soon, Nazi-appointed secret state police called the Gestapo roamed the streets. They were supported by the Shield Squadron, an intelligence service, and paramilitary stormtroopers. With so many forces on the ground, Nazi Germany became a controlled police state. Germans lived in constant fear of the Gestapo officers who could arrest and imprison people without being questioned by any court. Prisoners often disappeared from Gestapo torture chambers after they were violently beaten or electrocuted. The Gestapo was also responsible for setting up and administering concentration camps. These camps were a series of buildings enclosed with a barbed wire fence where Nazis forcibly imprisoned communists, Union leaders, Jews, and later, Soviet prisoners during World War II. Soon, concentration camps and extermination camps mushroomed all over Germany. Not only did the concentration camps confine and torture prisoners, they supplied free labor to the Nazi government as prisoners were made to produce armaments and machinery. The extermination camps were purely meant for killing prisoners that were unable to work or undesirable to the Nazis. In 1934, when President Hindenburg died, Hitler combined the offices of the President and Chancellor and became the sole Führer, or leader of Germany. With his anti-democratic policies in place, Hitler was ready to start reconstructing the German economy. Advising Hitler on economic growth was Dr. Hjalmar Schacht, Germany's Minister of Economics. Using innovative policies, Schacht was able to reduce the economic deficit by creating new trade agreements with Southeast Europe. He was also able to reduce unemployment by hiring German workers to construct highways called Autobahns across the length and breadth of Germany. The Volkswagen Beetle became a symbol of the German workers' newfound prosperity. With trade unions abolished, labor worked long hours at low pay, making the Volkswagen factory successful. And soon, the German economy became the quickest among all world economies to recover from the Great Depression. Always prepared for war, Hitler increased government spending on armaments production. Schacht was against this, as he felt military spending would lead to inflation. In order to spread his military might, Hitler ordered 32,000 soldiers to reoccupy the Rhineland on 7th March 1936. France and Britain did not react, leading Hitler to believe that he could conquer East Europe without evoking any reaction from the Allies. In 1938, he fulfilled his desire of uniting Austria-Hungary with Germany by bullying its chancellor into resigning. One people, one empire, one leader became the most repeated Nazi slogan. After this, Hitler annexed Czechoslovakia. By 1939, the Nazi government was spending double of what it was earning through taxes. To save the German economy and increase his resources, Hitler invaded Poland in September 1939, sparking off World War II. To gain support, Germany entered the Tripartite Pact, or Three-Power Pact, in September 1940 with Italy and Japan. This agreement established the Axis powers in World War II. As the war gained momentum, Hitler decided to invade the Soviet Union on 22nd of June 1941. After a few defeats in the initial years, by 1945, the Soviet Red Army managed to push back the Nazis all the way back to Berlin. In the meantime, Japan was expanding its power. In December 1941, Japan attacked the US base at Pearl Harbor, forcing the United States to enter World War II. The Americans got back at Japan by dropping nuclear atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki on 6th and 9th of August 1945. Hitler's efforts to restructure Germany ended up destroying the world around it. With the bombing at Hiroshima-Nagasaki and the defeat of Hitler, the World War finally came to an end in May 1945.